Soon, the next Assassin's Creed game will be releasing this year, which gave me motivation to finish this video which I wanted to make since last year. Assassin's Creed series has been one of my favorite video games of all time. I have played all Assassin's Creed canon games except Origins, which means I have played 10 Assassin's Creed games. So I have experienced and played through all the changes and differences in the series over the time. I have been through the good changes like sailing and better graphics, to the bad things like confusing lore filled with retcons and financially scummy moves by Ubisoft. There have always been few bad and few good things in the games to keep me playing without getting frustrated at the game. But playing Odyssey was not a good experience for me, as bad things outweighed the good parts of the game so much that it took me like a month to muster up effort to finish the game. Because usually I finish any game I play within 2 to 3 days. I can't talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey without talking about my experience with other Assassin's Creed games. I will not be going in depth for these games, but just an overview to establish a scale to understand why I don't like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The first Assassin's Creed game I played was Brotherhood, and I was blown away with it. I liked the game a lot. I liked the mechanics of the game, the lore behind it. Just like everyone, I enjoyed the parkour-like running of the character. The locations, the structure and the architecture that I traversed through in the gameplay looked so amazing. Assassin's Creed games have always been very good in terms of graphics and the attention to detail. Original Assassin's Creed games were more focused and had a clear ideology. I knew what the creed stood for and what we are fighting against, but slowly through the retcons and confusing expansions on the lore muddied it. We had Abstergo in present, we had Creed and Templars in the past, then we had the First Civilization and Minerva. They kept adding to it. Sometimes it made sense, sometimes it was just total bullshit. I will not waste time explaining the lore because I don't fully understand it either. Even through all these changes, we had good gameplay experience. Fighting styles changed with each different era we were sent to through the animes. I'm not gonna lie, but I learned a lot of history through the games. Don't get me wrong, I didn't learn the actual history through the games. I learned about historical figures and events through the games, which then I researched on my own to learn more about. I am from India, so I got to experience ancient architecture and historic figures from different continents through the gameplay, which I liked a lot. For me, video games are like books but way more engaging. So all that said, let's move on to the actual topic in hand. So unlike some of the critics on internet, I have actually played Assassin's Creed games, and I'm not here to bash the game senselessly. Not just that, I have 106 hours of gameplay time in Assassin's Creed Odyssey itself. This video essay is from the place of being let down by a game franchise that you loved so much growing up. That is why I will start with good things about the game. The graphics, as usual, are stunning. There are so many times where I was synchronizing a viewpoint and I'm taken aback by the breathtaking panorama. The sheer vastness of the game is outstanding. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has no shortage of beautiful vistas and meticulously detailed landscapes. As an artist and a designer, I was very happy to see such intricate details and passion that went into designing such an expanse of landmass. The storyline of Assassin's Creed Odyssey begins with the warrior who has to sacrifice his children under the command of Spartan Oracle. We have a choice between brother or a sister to choose as a playable character. I'll be referring to the character as her because I chose Cassandra to play the game with. The story is about revenge against a shadowy cult that took away your family. It revolves around finding the truth about your family and uncovering a dark conspiracy behind the war-stricken Greece. It's about reunion of lost family. Not just that, the choices you make in the game also change the ending of the game. It's not as good as Dishonored, but it still is good nonetheless. For me, I always go with the choices that are inherent to my nature. I don't kill anyone unless it is necessary. Also, I don't insult or antagonize any character for no reason. Thus, my ending had all the family reunited. And I didn't even know that there were different endings based on my choices back then. This is something I will also be talking about as bad being later in this video, but for now let's talk about fun times. The game has so much to offer that you will have to play it so much to go through everything. You can take part in battles between Athenian and Spartans where you help one side win it. These are quick and small side missions in the game that I loved playing. Because in these battles you get to let loose and wreak havoc on the unfortunate side that you're up against. These battles also served as best way to farm experience and resources. And if you cause too much ruckus, you would also get a bounty placed on your head and mercenaries around the world would chase you down and try to kill you. Each merc had their own abilities and fighting style which kept things interesting. You also get to fight mythical creatures like Minotaur, the Medusa, Sphinx, and the Cyclops. These fights were hard as I was already playing on hard difficulty, piecing together bits and pieces of evidence to trace the location of these mythical creatures, then going through labyrinthine levels to get to the fight was so much fun. Apart from that, you get to know various historic figures like Socrates, the famous philosopher, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, Pythagoras, the well-renowned mathematician, Democritus, the laughing philosopher, and the list goes on. You get to learn about ancient Greek tradition and culture. You get to visit places of historic importance, which is usual for an Assassin's Creed game. Now that we are done with good things, let's move on to things that made this game frustrating to play. For some people, this point may be a good thing, but hear me out. The original Assassin's Creed games were action-adventure games, while this game is more of action RPG. And there is nothing wrong with that on itself, but my point of contention is the gameplay being boring and repetitive. Instead of having an adventure, you're stuck grinding for resources and better weapons for most of the game. It gets so bad that sometimes it started with a mission, then I had to wander so much and so far that I started another mission, and by some time later I had like 5 open missions at the same time. Although some of the side quests were so good and heartwarming and worth the effort, but most of the time it was just mindless grind. I think the game took a lot of inspiration from Witcher 3 and there were some good parts. Still, I can't believe why they had to put so much extra junk when there was already a very vast playable content in the game that is good. The worst part of it was the leveling up. So every character in this game can go up to level 50, including our character. And playing with hard difficulty, it was very hard to go against anyone with higher level than you, which is pretty normal in RPG games. But this game has a broken level system where no matter how many levels you go up, the enemies will also level up with you. So for example, I had to kill these bandits and they were level 24 and I was level 18, and no matter how good I fought, all it took was one random arrow or sword strike to instantly kill me, while I had to deliver around 50 strikes to kill one enemy. I thought that's okay. I left and leveled up and came back as level 27 to the same bandits, and now they were level 27 also. This doesn't go for few levels only. Even if you max out at level 50, all the enemies also get leveled up to level 49 or 50, which I thought was stupid. Although this game has a varied variety of special moves that I loved and an arsenal of weaponry that each came with their own moveset, it still felt stale after a while. As you won't be able to assassinate most enemies in this game, you have to rely on your combat to outdo hordes of enemies. Don't get me wrong, there are many special abilities that you can do in this game, but imagine the sheer number of enemies you have to fight. The combat starts to feel lacking. I remember playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate few years ago and loving the combat so much. Contrast that to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where we have this. And yes, there are moves like Spartan Kick where I yell, "This is Sparta!" every time using the move. And there was this move where I could slow the time for a few seconds and I would yell Zavarudo, and my brother who doesn't watch his anime would go like, "Are you gone mad?" But it was fun. And there are many ways to kill very high level enemies by kicking them off the building and hills to get instant environmental kills. But after hours of play, using these moves felt like playing a mobile game instead of a AAA game. So, as I said, I have played Assassin's Creed from beginning and always liked the autosave feature in the game, but this game was something else. For example, sometimes I finished a mission and right after that some mercenary killed me and the game starts from autosave and I realize the mission I just finished is still pending. Not just that, sometimes the game threw me back to a different area altogether and then I had to retrace my steps back. It got so bad that I had to manually save the game after every mission to stop accidentally losing my progress. And let's talk about loading times. As this game is very huge and I understand the loading times while starting the game or fast traveling to another area, but this game has loading mid-mission and sometimes even mid-cutscenes. It totally pulls you out of the immersion and you sit there staring at the fire in the loading screen. The trivia facts are good and all, but they don't help when loading screen appears while you are playing. That too when I have dedicated SSD for the games. Let's move on to next point. This was very confusing and weird to me. Assassin's Creed franchise has a very clear ideology from the beginning. Assassins from the Creed don't go around killing anyone anywhere. They have a purpose and a bigger picture in mind. But in this game, our character is a misthios, which is a Greek word for mercenary. So our character has no actual ideology and is driven mostly by money. And the only reason driving the main storyline and her actions is her need to find her family and her quest for revenge against those who tore her family apart in the past. Everything other than that is her killing anyone she gets paid to kill. Earlier I was talking about battles in which we can take part in. In those battles we can fight from the side of Athenians or the Spartans. It doesn't matter to our character who she supports. As long as she gets paid, she will tear through men without caring which color they are wearing. And the worst part of it is that it has no effect on the in-game characters. For example, you can kill Spartan commanders in a mission for Athenian political leaders, all the while doing the same things to Athenian commanders by helping Spartans. There is no point in game where they go like, "Wait a minute, are you fighting for both sides?" This sort of ruins the game for me. Like, why is it even called Assassin's Creed? You might as well call it Assassin for Hire. With that rant over, I'll move to my last point of contention. I'm not gonna ramble much about this at this point as I feel spent. Voice acting in this game is subpar to say the least. Sometimes it is okay, but most times it is bad. And just like Far Cry 5, it doesn't matter my game character is female, they still sometimes talk as if they are addressing a man. This sometimes led to situations where Alexios, the male character, was supposed to have romantic relation with women. Instead, we get Cassandra taking women to bed in her arms, which I guess is very progressive of the game. Anyway, it sometimes was funny, but most of the time ruined it for me because the cutscenes of this game are outstanding in terms of graphics and storytelling. Here are my concluding thoughts. This game marked a genre shift for Assassin's Creed series. The vast open world got way vaster and denser with elements of mythology and scenic beauty scattered among the good but very long gaming experience. I do miss the fun and adventure of early Assassin's Creed games, but I know that every good thing must come to an end. Though I do hope that from this end we get a new beginning and hope that Ubisoft fixes the issues that plagued Odyssey in the upcoming Assassin's Creed installment Valhalla. I'll end it on that note. This was a retrospect on bittersweet fun I had playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Hope you guys liked the video because I had so much fun making it and reminiscing about the game. Hi guys, I actually forgot to add one more thing. They added one more missions sort of side quest, like where you have to capture bases just like you do in Far Cry, like you have to liberate outposts. So that was okay at first, but then it just got repetitive and boring. And I also forgot to mention about the eagle vision. In this game, we actually have an eagle and we send her in the air, and that eagle like locates important objectives and the targets, but the way it spots is so bad. Anyway guys, subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more of similar content. If you have any suggestion for next video, leave them in the comments. And before I forget, thanks for 100 subscribers. I will try to keep more content coming. Thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in the next one.